All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave back again talking real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. So Roger Waters is out there telling a couple of different publications that promoters keep trying to push the Pink Floyd button. It's kind of like going to Staples. Remember, you had the easy button? Well, the promoters, they want Roger Waters to play more Pink Floyd music. Well, duh, right? Because they'll sell more tickets. But if fans hear that, hey, he's just going to do mostly his solo material, and apparently he's not even doing the solo material that people want to hear, because I actually have a patron who went to a Roger Waters concert, and he said he was very disappointed. He said the set list was not very impressive at all. Even if you're a hardcore Roger Waters fan, he said there was way too much political atmosphere, shall we say. I mean, they've got all these screens behind Waters, and they do all of this stuff where they have certain words flashing on the screens. And apparently Roger Waters does not like the 45th president of the United States very much. And that's not surprising. Apparently he did take some shots at the current president, which I think is good and deserving and refreshing. But these old goats, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. And what I mean by that is Roger is very anti-war. And currently we have a very pro-war administration. We're funding a proxy war, right? Well, Russia, they're the evil ones, right? Oh, yeah. Remember World War II, how Russia caused so many problems? No? Well, I mean, it's the same element that is back that Russia is again, trying to stop, but nobody in the media is talking about this because, again, that would require critical thinking. You'd have to drill down and find out, so who are these people that we're sending weapons to, right? Roger Waters typically is very anti-war, anti-establishment, and a lot of these guys, what's kind of sad, same with Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, they're in this lane politically, and they can't get out of that lane. They can't see to someone else's point of view. Maybe it's the cultural issues, right? All of these culture war issues, which are polarizing people. And these guys believe in certain rights for certain groups of people. And apparently that was expressed at the Roger Waters concert, more so than, say, stopping the genocide in a certain portion of the world, like, say, I don't know, Yemen, for instance. Probably not much talk about that, but certainly, the Ukrainian flags, I'm sure, were flying in the background. I don't know if that was the case, but it seems to be this is the latest thing. So you have to support the latest thing. You don't question the latest thing. Just like the prior thing, which was the thing, right? You support what the government is trying to do there, which is bizarre because people have all this trust now for these institutions that I was always told to be skeptical of. I mean, the people who founded this country were very skeptical of the government they were fleeing from. Thus, they decided to make a new constitution. So in case this happens again, the people would have some type of mechanism to deal with it. But we're not really dealing with it, are we? No, we're just kicking the can down the road, and we're playing ping pong with one party versus the other party. We'll see what happens in the fall. It could be Custer's last stand. I don't know if it's that bad, but it could be. It really could be. So anyway, this article talking about how Roger Waters is under a lot of stress because he says, I'm also under a huge amount of pressure from the promoters of the show, who are AEG. Don't know what AEG stands for. I could have looked it up, but I didn't. Who understandably might have a slightly different agenda than I do. So he's saying that politically, maybe they're different, but here's what AEG probably wants to do. They probably want to sell tickets, Roger. I mean, that's the name of the game. If you're a promoter, you want to sell tickets. You want to charge a lot for tickets. My friend over on Patreon told me that the price of these tickets is going down because they're not selling. The other issue is there were plenty of available seats for the Roger Waters show. Now, again, if Roger comes out there and says, hey, we're going to do all of the Pink Floyd stuff that I was involved in, and I'll tackle a lot of my solo material. What was it? Radio Chaos, and some other things that Roger has done over his career, which would probably kind of dovetail nicely with all of the Pink Floyd material. But he's more concerned about the political agenda, which, see, I don't mind some politics at a concert so long as it doesn't become the concert. Like, you have to celebrate whatever is being espoused politically in order to get the music that's coming your way. It's like, yes, we'll treat you to a 2-hour show, but you're going to have to deal with all of the nonsense, all of the political chicanery. So this is what Roger Waters said. I'm constantly trying to move my thumb off the Pink Floyd button onto this is how I feel about my brothers and sisters all over the world. And we have to act collectively to stop our appalling cretinous leaders from destroying the world. My thumb is always drifting over to that button. So we arrive at a compromise. Well, I don't know. I think most people who are going to see a rock concert would like to hear some rock music, right? So Roger Waters is out there basically saying, look, I'm trying to alert people about all the cretins out there, which again is an admirable thing depending on your worldview. I'm wondering which cretins, he's trying to alert the world to. I'm sure one of them is Vladimir Putin, right? Because again, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, apparently. But what he seems to forget is that he's a musician first and then an activist second. So if he wanted to do a tour, like a speaking tour, right? And say, hey, I'm going to do lectures. I'm going to go around the country and you pay a certain amount to come and see me. And I'm going to blast all the people I can't stand. And you can sit there and agree with me and applaud and enjoy all of the knowledge that I've accumulated over the years. And I can impart my wisdom upon you. And that would be something legitimate, right? If people, wanted to do that, I bet you there would be a market for that. I'm not sure it would be a big market for that, but it's better than the old bait and switch. Hey, come to see Pink Floyd stuff. And, oh, I really don't want to play Pink Floyd stuff. I'm Roger Waters anyway. I'm not Pink Floyd anymore. Why should I play Pink Floyd stuff? Why should I play my most popular solo material either? Right? Why should I do any of that? I need to talk about all the cretins all over the world. Yeah. Okay. Well, again, you're paying big money to hear something that, if you agree with Roger, I think you probably already know about most of the things he's going to talk about. He's going to stress that certain groups of people in this world need human rights. But certain other groups of people, he's not going to talk about those people. He's not going to talk about like the genocide in Yemen. He's not going to talk about the fact that the eastern part of Ukraine has been bombed to bits for the last 8 years. Not going to talk about why that was happening and who installed that puppet government, right? He's not going to talk about that because it doesn't fit. So in any event, if you decide you want to go see Roger Waters, you're going to have to put up with all this stuff. And he's just admitting, hey, I don't really want to play Pink Floyd songs. It's just something that the management is making me do, and I'm trying not to do that. So if you don't play Pink Floyd songs and you're not playing your most popular solo material, then what are you doing up there? I mean, does he do magic tricks? Is juggling part of the show? Maybe, I mean, I don't know. See, some of the lockdown stuff he did, I thought was pretty good. I really did. And most of the lockdown stuff now can we just move on from the Zoom stuff and the lockdowns and all that? And I think we have, but if you wanted to see a couple of decent performances, that's where a lot of people were going. And I think Roger Waters did at least one or two that I thought were pretty good. And again, he's no spring chicken. And if you want to go see Roger Waters and you're thinking this might be the last time you get to see Roger Waters, you might be right. I think he's 78. So again, I don't know how much longer he's going to want to do this. He seems to be getting more cantankerous, is a good word, more of a curmudgeon as the time goes on. And I don't see that improving anytime soon. And obviously there's not going to be any kind of Pink Floyd reunion. So I guess this is it. If you're a fan of this music and you want to give it one last shot, keep in mind you'll have to put up with this. Make sure, I would say, if you're going to do this, make sure you have access to the adult beverage concessions stand. Have good direct access to that. And, maybe you can start heckling Roger and say, hey, play some music, you old goat. Stop talking about politics. But Roger, he ain't listening. So I guess you can just keep drinking at that point and maybe you won't care. All right. So there's my advice in a video. Drink more at the Roger Waters concert. Yes, I am not advocating overindulgence in an adult beverage or in several adult beverages, I should say. But, you do have free will as an adult and you do have informed consent, especially since it's going to cost you a lot of money to do that. So you might want to just save your money because you're going to need to park the car and then you're going to need to drive home. And the gas, even though it's down a little bit, yep, gas prices are down like 20 cents or something. It's still going to cost you a lot of money to get back and forth to the concert. So yeah, you might want to be a little frugal with your money inside the stadium. All right, folks, that's my video. Roger Waters out there just being himself. And yeah, that's it. See you soon.